This is Let's Talk. We're getting to the root causes of the important issues of the day. This on-the-air community forum believes your voice matters and welcomes all thoughts and views without judgment. Please join today's conversation by calling 415-663-8492 or tweet us at Let's Talk on KWMR.
Oh, the tweet thing. Hang on.
No, don't tweet us.
I'll see if I can get it going here.
And who was that? Who was that speaking?
I am Paul Raphael. This is Stephen Hurwitz.
Hello there.
The dulcet tones of Stephen Hurwitz.
How did I do on that introduction?
Very good.
I practiced
Very good.
about 10 minutes before.
Yeah, the no judgment thing kind of prevents us from. Anyway, it was fine, Stephen. It was fine.
Yeah, it's really good. It's the best I ever heard. Stephen Hurwitz. Ms. Shelley Rugg.
That's right.
Is here, as always. And
Thank you.
who is this reprobate?
I think you'll find I'm Paul Raphael. No, but my name is Charles. So what are we talking about today?
Well, it's the end of the year, beginning of the new year, so, of course, it's time to recap the joyful memories of 2017 and to look forward to the wonderful things that will happen in the next year and beyond, perhaps. So, memories and predictions.
Call us, 415-663-8492. 663-8492. Tell us a reminiscence and a prediction, maybe?
Yes, what do you think is, what are you looking forward to in the new year, or what are you dreading in the new year? Anything will do. Any predictions are valid, I say. And what are your favorite memories or your worst memories of the year just about to come to a close, and still things are happening? It's amazing how things happen every day. Isn't it?
I was thinking of recapping all the most embarrassing things I've said in a social setting in 2017, and there's some great ones. But then people would figure out who I was. There was that one with the waiter. You remember that? The waiter, behind George Merrill's house. Then there was the one, and that one is. So those are fun, but I don't know if I regret them exactly. What about you, Shelley?
I've been thrown out of better places than this.
Well, it was Marshall, so nobody threw me out, but, they certainly were a little surprised. But do you have a favorite reminiscence or dreaded recollection of...
Well, dreaded recollections are easier to come by, it seems.
I say.
Not personal, necessarily, but just the way this past year has unfolded has been disturbing.
What about it? What's so disturbing?
What's so disturbing?
Has anything changed in West Marin? Something has changed in West Marin.
Oh, well, we lost the commons seating arrangements.
Fair enough.
Boy, they come and go.
And what about West Marin deaths in
chairs.
2017? Can anybody think of some people who passed away in 2017 we should remember? I'll rack my brain on that.
Well, my stepmother died.
Oh. And Nancy Sicher's mother died just here in West Marin a couple of weeks ago, actually a month ago.
Alice was the year before.
Was Janice LeBeau, was she this year?
Janice, that may have been this year.
It's January this year?
Right.
So lovely Janice LeBeau here in, they're in Marshall for ages.
Boy, you said it.
Todd Friend?
Way back.
Todd Friend passed away this year. That was sad and unfortunate, for sure. I'm trying to think. But, those folks will be missed for sure.
So is it easier
Anybody
to
who won't
happy?
be missed. Anybody you're happy they're dead. Oh. Call in. You're glad somebody's dead. Do we have a caller?
We do have a caller. And just so you know, callers, when you call in, you'll hear a funny noise that the caller just heard. And that means I'm putting you in the system. Hang on until I say you're on the air, and then give us your name, turn down your radio if it's on, and please keep the language clean. Hello, caller. You are on the air.
Oh, rats. I was going to say all these dirty words, but now you told me not to.
Oh, come on. Go for it. I didn't say that.
Dare me.
What's your name, caller?
This is David calling in. And
David.
Nice, David. Hey.
Hi. And I wanted to mention one other person who passed this year, a dear friend of mine and a longtime Marshall fixture, although he had moved to Texas. And Jack Harper.
Jack Harper.
Oh, really?
And
can you tell me about him? I don't. I've only been in Marshall for 7 minutes.
Well, he was was the head waitress. He called himself at the Marshall Tavern for many years. He managed it, and he was kind of in charge of the drug, sex, and rock and roll part of the tavern for a long time.
Wasn't that most of the tavern?
The entire ground floor.
Yeah, was it?
Well, and he lived upstairs, too, which is where a certain amount of the illicit activity went on between sets.
Very convenient.
But he was a guy with a really sharp wit and a sharp eye and a really wonderful human-oriented guy. He was the first guy who I ever heard say "follow the money," which was back in the 70s. And I was friends with him for 40 years. And it's incidentally because of the other two deaths, Todd Friend and Janice LeBeau, and then Jack. I've reconnected with a couple of people who I hadn't seen in a long time. So that was a positive thing that came out of people dying.
Yeah.
But it was three people I lost this year.
Yeah, all lovely people too. And yeah, Jack was a wonderful guy. He lived in my house before we moved.
He did,
there.
And he always resented you, Paul, for for living there. And he said, he kept saying,
I never should have moved,
"Tell me
man."
if there's any indication he's going to move out." And I gave you bad vibes a few times about it. But
I'm impervious to bad vibes.
you are,
Yes.
yes, Paul, and we are fortunate for that.
Yes, it was a hard year for Marshall, and before that, of course, Alice moving on. And, it was Marshall's population shrank even more, and then, but then some nice people have moved in as well. So
That's true. Life goes on.
they'll all be fixtures in Marshall, and they'll be part of its history down the line. So it's good.
So I'm going to free up the line until you say something else that makes me think of something. But
Any predictions? Any predictions?
Predictions for 2018.
By the way, our caller is in the sheriff's calls this week. I don't know if you noticed that.
well,
An alarm went off.
actually, maybe even my alarm went off twice.
Well,
Once was definitely my negligence, and because I just didn't get out fast enough, and I was starting to drive away, and somebody ran after me and said, "Hey, your alarm's going off." So I came up, shut it off, and by the time I came back out from shutting the alarm off, the fuzz were there. They showed up very quickly.
Very good.
I saw the one fellow with his assault rifle drawn, and then he put it away and went over to Toby's, had a cup of coffee.
Well, at least he didn't go to the Western. No.
He did have his assault rifle, and
Well, that's where I'd taken shelter.
Apologized for that, but he said, you never know.
I was terrified by
you
the
never
sight,
know.
so I sheltered in the Western. I ran the first place I could hide.
Good choice, Charles.
Went to your local therapist.
Yeah.
Thank you, David. Well, do you have a prediction, or no?
Oh, my predictions would be too dour for putting on the air. I think.
They let me on there. Come on, how bad could it be?
I don't know. I just, my positive prediction would be, at least for me, I don't know about anybody else who might agree with me or not, but that the Democrats get a little bit of power and, maybe they take back the Senate and the House of Representatives and then vote you-know-who out of office.
Oh, well.
You know who? Dennis Redoni.
You mean Mike Pence into office?
Mike Pence into office, and that would in some ways be worse. But I think Mr. Trump has. I'm not calling him. I can't do that. That he's changed the level of discourse, lowered the level of discourse of this country in a really nasty way. And even if Mike Pence had gotten in, I think because Trump just doesn't play by anybody else's rules. He plays by his own rules, and he says whatever he wants to.
Isn't that great? I've been doing that. I'm the Trump of Marshall.
You are, Charles.
I was once referred to as the progressive Trump on a late night show on KWMR.
Okay.
So there you go. But has anything changed in West Marin? Nothing's really changed in West Marin. People are a little riled up, maybe. Blood pressure's going up in 2017.
Maybe that.
People are
I
engaged.
found out I have emphysema, but that's
Oh, no.
yeah,
Oh, dear.
bummer. But life goes on.
I can tell you an emphysema story.
Go ahead.
A cheerful one. This would be from Jack Elliott of Marshall, California.
Yeah.
He told me one day that he had to go to the doctor, and these two young guys told me, Jack, you got emphysema. And I said, boys, look at that clock. And when the second hand passed 12, I yodeled for a minute straight. And at the end, the two boys said, well, that's real good, Jack, but you still got emphysema. And I said, listen here, I'm not coming back. You guys are no fun, and it's too hard to park here.
Well, good for Jack.
I don't know if it's really the an
Jack
approach.
is still kicking.
Yeah.
When the clock strikes 12, I'll cough for a minute.
Well, thank you, David. Thank you for calling
you're welcome. Thank you all for this show. I really enjoy calling in and being part of it and listening too.
It's always
Thank
good
you.
to hear your voice. And Happy New Year if you don't call again.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
663
8492
8492.
Please call in.
Give us
I've
a
had
call.
a tough time thinking of, a bright spot in the last year.
Oh,
Isn't
well,
life kind of nice?
I'm gonna leave that up to you.
Bright spot. Somebody had
bright
cataract
spot.
surgery.
Yeah.
How about that?
oh,
for
that's a bright
Exactly.
spot. Very good, very good. How about the Women's March in January 21?
No invite. I didn't get invited. I never get
Millions
invited
of
to these
people
things.
worldwide joined the Women's March in response to the inauguration of Trump. 420 marches in the U.S. and 188 in other countries, becoming the largest single-day protest in American history and the largest worldwide protest in recent history. There you go.
It
Shelley,
still
did you-
didn't compare to Trump's inauguration crowd, though.
It was huge, believe me.
We should not talk about this.
Well, I did not march, no.
I held a counter protest that's my Save the Males movement. That I think is going to really take off in 2018. Prediction: Save the Males becomes an important cultural movement.
On another bright note, Zbigniew Brzezinski died.
Yeah,
Because the males are so weak and
They are.
downtrodden.
Well, hello, obviously. Zbigniew Brzezinski, he was not great. He really was not great. He was the one in the Carter administration that came up with a brilliant idea of arming the Islamic radicals in Afghanistan to attack the Soviet Union, which didn't have any negative repercussions for us.
No.
Osama bin Laden, who is that?
It seemed such a good idea at the time. And of course, another bright note is that the word dotard came back into use after centuries in the darkness, thanks to Kim Jong-un.
What is a dotard, please?
Dotard? A person in their dotage,
I see.
getting old and stupid, old and senile, and
My.
We're not talking about you,
Dotard.
Don't take that personally.
I am becoming a dotard, but that's better than a sluggard, which is what my English teacher told me.
That's where you started and ended and everything in between.
Well, I think what I'm wanting to comment on is one of the big things that has been expanding. It's not like it didn't exist, and that's the separation between supposed groups of people that this idea that we're so separate from each other and that we have to stay in our pool and we can't go into someone else's pool.
Well, I can't anymore after as a protector. I have to stay 100 yards away from that pool, but we don't have to get into that.
That's right, but it brings up the fact that there are interracial couples that became much more accepted, for one thing.
Last year?
Yeah, I think so.
In this past year?
Yeah, that's
Possibly.
I think so. Today you
Certainly,
even have you have the Prince Harry.
High spot would be the sexual harassment revelations
Yeah.
that are rocking industry in
Absolutely.
Hollywood. There's a female Doctor Who for the first time ever.
Yeah,
If
with a
anyone-
Yorkshire accent. He might be pro-female Doctor Who, but not the Yorkshire accent she's bringing to that. He will pose her on those grounds.
We have a caller. Caller, you're on the air. What's your name, please?
Good morning, everybody. It's MK in Seattle.
MK in
Hi.
Seattle. How are you?
Yeah. Pretty good.
Are you under the snow up there?
Well, it's mostly melted, thank goodness.
Oh, yeah.
It's very pretty.
Yeah.
Very inconvenient and very pretty. I've been thinking about this thing ever since I read your deal yesterday, Paul, about what was going to be on.
Oh.
And every year I make two lists at the end of the year, the highs and the lows. And Sometimes people and things get on the same list. They get on both lists, which is kind of fun to think about. Like, I was diagnosed with a creepy illness this year, and that's bad. Except now I know what's been the matter with me for so long, and that's good. So you can deal with that.
You can put a name to it.
Oh, Parkinson's.
Yeah. No, but it's good to put a name to it.
Yeah, put a name to it. Right, exactly. Yeah. And today is my 73rd birthday.
Good.
Happy birthday.
Terrible time to have a birthday, so you have to tell everybody about it because it's between Christmas and New Year's, and it's like, oh yeah, a birthday.
A lot of
here, people write you a check, which is good.
Oh, that's great. You can pass those on to me, MK.
Huh?
You can just
pass them on to you. Okay, I'll
endorse to Charles.
That's right. You can send those general delivery, Marshall, California 94940.
Okay, how you spell Schultz?
Any way you like. Have fun with it.
You couldn't present ID to get a box. It's got to be general delivery now.
Well, no, I'm just saying there's so few people that if you sent something general delivery, they would look at the name and put it in the correct box.
Oh, good. Okay. My check will be in the mail.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do you ever see that cartoon in the New Yorker? There's all the solar system, and then out beyond the solar system, there's the check in the mail.
So what's on this list? Come on, what about the list?
The list,
I really like that you this idea that something can land on both columns, and that it almost could beg the inquiry, okay, this is a negative. What's the positive out of this?
Right. And I, that I historically have not always thought that way. Now that I'm getting into my dotage, becoming a dotard. It's interesting. My life is becoming smaller, and that's by choice.
Smaller in what sense? Not traveling as much, not owning as many things.
Not owning as many things, getting rid of stuff.
You can send those to me too.
Okay.
What do you need, Charles?
Yeah, what do you need, Charles? I have about 20 masks staring me in the face right now.
20 masks?
A lion and an eagle and an owl and a woman that I made and all kinds of wonderful Mexican things. Anyway.
Well, we can use those masks. We'll find a use. A masked ball?
It's not that interesting. But I think that the things that are important that go on this list are like health and wealth, and which is not really a point in my life at this point. But all sorts of people that you come to a place where you might love the person, but you can't have them in your life anymore. You have to put them away.
Since you mentioned that, you have a long list under the heading here, Ways My Daughter Has Disappointed Me in 2017. Could we have some of those?
Actually, she among my 3 children is the one who remembered my birthday. Good list. So extra special, wonderful list. Partly it's because she gave me a wonderful birthday present and wanted to know if it had been assembled and everything else, which was part of her reason, because that's the way she is.
So she was nice, not naughty.
She's my pal, and I love her dearly, and she's great.
It's a lovely thing you have.
And shame on your other 2 children.
She's not a disappointment. The others aren't either. They occasionally get slapped upside the head. But other than that, that's what mothers are for.
Exactly.
So anyway, predictions for next year. It's turned out like Tom Robinson's Pollyanna cowgirl. It's all going to be wonderful. I think that we're in for some bumps. Hopefully not the kind that lift the sky up and throw it around, but we'll see. I don't know. I think that it's been awful quiet for the last few days. I get very sort of antsy if he's not tweeting his head off and screaming and yelling and carrying on.
Look, I've been very calm the last few days. I don't really see why. But anyway, do you have any resolutions?
Resolutions to eat less sugar.
Oh, okay.
That's good. I could use that one.
It's terrible. I mean, I don't drink anymore because I'm on all these medicines.
Oh,
I'm
dear.
I'm sure it's connected. That, because you get a lot of hollow calories out of booze, and I was sort of used to doing that for most of my life, and now I find chocolate chip cookies and all the little elf crap that people put in your Christmas stocking that should have gone in somebody else's. And then it's like, it's the evening, and I'm a little bit stoned, and da-da-da-da-da, and yeah. So
cutting out sugar.
So I'm not going to eat so much sugar. I'll probably eat maple syrup or molasses or something else.
Excellent. Cut down on the elf crap, I say.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, but I wish you all a happy New Year. And,
Same to you,
you
MK.
too.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
so much for calling.
for your program, because it's very fun. I haven't called up for a while, but I have been listening.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And hope I see you again in 18.
Come visit.
I will.
All right.
Well, you talk to your boss and see what you can work out.
Exactly.
Get that low lady down here.
Little old lady who?
MK.
we look,
Little old lady from Seattle, Washington, Massachusetts.
well, we look forward to seeing you.
Okay, thanks, Charles.
Have a grand new year.
Hope I meet you soon, Shelley
Yeah, that'd be great.
and Stephen. And I got my eyes fixed
thank
this
you
year
for
too, so
remembering.
it's great.
Oh, good.
Oh, more fixed
Vision,
eyes.
I can see the stars, which is wonderful.
Nice.
Anyway, and I can see also the cobwebs on my ceiling.
Don't look up.
Well, you've got
Okay, well,
the lovely Oscar Wilde line,
Amanda's
right?
last year is to look up. Mine is to get the broom.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, MK.
Take care, MK.
Have a great one.
And we have another
That's
caller.
lovely, isn't it?
Indeed.
Let's see. I just wanted to put one thing in that came up here, that there's a change in racial incarceration trend lines. There are more white people going to jail now. Interesting.
Oh, okay. Good news.
Caller, you are on the air. What's your name, please?
Hello, is it me?
No, it is.
It is you.
It's Mia.
Oh,
Hello.
Hi, Mia.
Thanks for the show. I actually missed the first 5 or so minutes. Is the theme bright points of the year?
Yeah, if you like. Memories of the year and predictions. Yes, for the future.
I just wanted to say I think one of the positive things from this crazy year that was not so positive in a lot of ways was I think pretty much across the board my relationships with friends and family deepened because with some personal challenges and then just sort of the world being in such turmoil, relationships that were close but maybe kind of superficial have turned more just deeper relationships and talking about more serious things and sort of facing the reality rather than just sort of being superficial. So I just wanted to say kind of across the board that happened this year, and I'm really grateful for that.
How lovely.
You made it
Nice.
to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and it sort of took some challenges to get there and sort of get to that point. So
Yeah.
Wonderful.
wanted to say that.
Nice. Well, back to my thing about us, being so separate. And I think that for me, going into 2018, I would like my focus to be on deepening connections, and finding ways to move that out into the world through art. It was funny. I was thinking about making some paintings and being in the art world. A white woman best not make paintings of African Americans or Hispanic people. Or, I suppose the list could continue. And so what dawned on me was, wait a minute, more separation. More putting us into little boxes and keeping us separate, and that the reality is that we're all human beings sharing the same planet. We're all sharing a human experience. So it's my stand for 2018 is to sort of break down some of those barriers.
To paint whomever you
That's
please.
right.
I thought as an
Certainly
artist,
Paul Gauguin did the
don't we
same.
have a requirement to break the rules as an artist?
Isn't that part of it? I think that's part of it.
maybe not. But we should have a Gauguin quote then. I love
Gauguin.
this. Yes, I like my women fat, vicious, and not too smart. He wrote in a letter
Is that
to.
real?
Yeah. It's actually in Lust for Life, but I looked it up, and it's actually in his letters to Van Gogh.
He's definitely losing his job.
So, Mia, are you still with us?
I think she ran off.
Oh, you.
Well, thank you for calling me.
Thank you, Mia.
Thank you.
That's lovely that relationships are getting more substantial, let's say.
Well, I think when everything is so awful, you want to focus on what is important, what is the heart of the matter, and I think often we come back to the people in our lives,
Yeah, well, it's, start local. What is more local than the people with whom you share your life. Here's something for the next year. The Church of Sweden is going to stop referring to God as He or Lord. How about that?
Church of Sweden.
Pull that out of the Bible. Just exercise everywhere.
Yeah, they're just not going to refer to him as He anymore.
Take all the bad parts out of the Bible. Why not? We could do that. 4 pages long.
Well, invoke the Shekinah then.
Here,
Who is
the
that?
Shekinah?
Is the female essence of the Lord.
Oh, the Shekinah.
The Shekinah.
Didn't she put out an album
Shake
this year?
the
I think she
Shekinah.
did.
She's from Columbia. No, I remember her.
She was at the Emmys. No,
Yeah,
no,
I was in college. Sure, yeah. Shekinah,
Here's a little article, 10 Good Things About a Terrible Year, just before the break here. The Me Too movement has empowered victims of sexual harassment and assault and encouraged accountability. The year has seen an explosion of grassroots organizing, protest, and activism. Thank you, Donald Trump. That's the
That's the good side.
Backlash. We're already seeing rebukes of Trump at the ballot box. Well, let's not get too... not count your chickens, so to speak. The first group of J20 protesters, people arrested in Washington, D.C. on the day of Trump's inauguration, were found not guilty. There were people like, there were newspaper guys, reporters in the street at that protest, and they all got rounded up and were facing like 15 years in prison for, protesting. Yes.
When did that
that's
become
a thing of
against
the
the
future.
law?
Well, it's violent, treasonous protesting. Chelsea Manning was released from prison after 7 years. Cities and states have committed to positive climate initiatives despite federal regression. Trump's presidency has deepened the critical national conversation about racism and white supremacy. Yes, this was the year the world said no to nuclear weapons. Except here.
Really?
And in North Korea. ISIS no longer has a caliphate. After all those terrible things, they took the battle was taken to Mosul, so they're just kind of wandering terrorists now, which is a wonderful thing.
It's the ISIS Village Association. They don't have it's not an actual caliphate anymore.
And the global community stood up to Trump's stance on Jerusalem. Yeah, well, good that did. Anyway.
But they're taking names, so...
They are taking names. There will be consequences.
Can you imagine standing in front of the United Nations saying, we're going to take names?
Well, I mean, the role is recorded, so,
The bullies
taking
are at the helm. So, this is KWMR, 90.5, Point Reyes Station, 89.9, Bolinas, 92.3 in the San Geronimo Valley. And KWMR is supported by Art Rogers Photography in Point Reyes Station, helping the coastal community tell stories since 1973 through portraits of families, babies, groups, marriages, milestones, agriculture, and landscapes, as well as through the Yesterday and Today series, which features family portraits captured over a span of time. More information at 415-663-8345 or at artrogers.com. And we're supported by Ken and Sam Levin Window Cleaning, helping West Marin, the San Geronimo Valley, and the North Bay see clearly for more than 25 years. Additional services include clearing gutters and downspouts as well as cleaning solar panels. They make house calls and can be reached at 415-663-9669, 415-663-9669. And we're also supported by To Celebrate Life Breast Cancer Foundation, raising funds to help underserved women and men living with breast cancer. Through its Bay Area Breast Cancer Grants program, the foundation supports nonprofits that provide direct and emergency services and believes that no one should face breast cancer alone. Information about how to get involved is available at tocelebratelife.org. And this is Let's Talk Call-In Radio. Give us a call, won't you? We're talking about 2017, 2018. How was your year, and what are you looking forward to or dreading in the next year? And call us at 415-663-8492 or 8317. And you'll hear a little noise. Just hang on till you hear me say you're on the air, and then give us your name, and please keep it clean.
I'm carrying a resolution forward from last year.
Oh, a resolution. Excellent. From last year.
From last year. I think I still need it this year. To not speak authoritatively about something I know nothing about.
Oh, no. Well, that's this program done. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. We're out of here.
How did you become enlightened to this situation?
I don't know. I just woke up knowing I needed it desperately.
Nobody said anything to you?
Comes from trained as a lawyer. Legal training, that's what they do.
Nothing to do with your proximity to Charles Schultz on various occasions.
What is this? I've been... I don't know what's really going on here.
I don't know what would happen to my social life if I were not able to hold forth and propound on subjects I know nothing about.
So what are your resolutions? Anybody resolutions here?
Resolutions.
You know, I thought it was Saturday, to be honest.
I'm going to be nice.
Yeah.
How about not using a British accent to
Not
make
just-
fun of
stop
the...
Wait
faking
a
it.
minute now. What the hell?
You're exposed. We know you're not
Racism
British.
on the highest order.
That's right. Invented by the British. Incidentally. We would know.
Concentration camp.
That reminds me of that old joke.
Fine invention.
The Scientologists were protesting the way that the German government was treating them. It was about 10 years ago. They were not going to allow them nonprofit status, whatever it was. And the joke was the German government replied, when we start oppressing your religion, trust us, you'll know. So, I'm sorry. Just to lighten things up.
I'm sorry, Charles, that went over my head.
So, the UK
not really,
triggered
Joe.
Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty, starting the Brexit negotiations back in March, the end of March. And what progress they've made so far? None, actually. They're still. They thought they had something cobbled together, but the Irish border is a terrible stumbling block because Ireland. Most of Ireland is still going to be in Europe, and Northern Ireland is, of course, with the UK, and so that will be an international border, and the Irish, of course, would love to keep it open. Northern Irish, not so much. There you go. That's just how that goes. So that kind of put the kibosh
Have
on,
you guys ever heard of Jefferson?
Oh, we did a show on this.
Jefferson County?
The state of Jefferson.
State of Jefferson?
Yeah.
Supposed to be Northern California and Southern Oregon or something like
You
that.
think that's going to happen next year? I think they'll secede.
I don't know how long I just became aware of this probably in 2017. I don't know how long they've been working on it. So
Yeah.
I
It's
don't know.
Well, there are loads of
been in
those.
the works for a while.
They're all over the
4 or 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah, there are all kinds of different California secession movements and American secession movements. I mean, one of them is like, for example, for years have been people in northern Santa Barbara County that want to split the county at the Ridge and have Reagan land be called Mission County and have south of the Ridge, Santa Barbara, Isla Vista, Carpinteria, California, all be, Santa Barbara County. But, I mean, there are loads of them all over the place.
Can we get Alabama and Mississippi to secede?
Again?
Texas keeps wanting to, and I keep saying, okay.
Well, I think, why don't we just give California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas back to Mexico? That would be that's my idea.
You think that'll happen in 2018?
Then in 2018.
We are giving it back
Excellent.
to Mexico.
That's right. But then we can just use the Sierras as the wall.
Here's a little thing which has been exemplified or amplified in the past year. $180 billion investment in plastic factories feeds the global packaging binge. So there is going to be, it's going to increase dramatically over the next 10 years. There will be much more plastic being created. It will help fuel a 40% rise in plastic production in the next decade. So there will be not less plastic, but more. So we've got to figure out what to do with that.
Who's desiring more plastic?
The plastic companies. The oil company, it's a byproduct of oil. Roger Moore passed away.
Well, Roger Moore.
Yeah.
The best James Bond. Well, the best. Oh, that's the Saint.
The Saint, yes.
Oh, but
Goes
he
back
was
to
the
the
best
Saint.
James Bond. I mean, really.
You think so?
Yes, because he's the goofy, over-the-top, fun one. John Connery, too angry. And the other one's whatever. No, but he's fun. I mean, come on. Piloting a submarine disguised as a crocodile. I mean, these are this is the Bond we need for our time. Yeah. Not a monkey-faced assassin, but someone with,
an English accent.
Delightful, ironic sexism and, whatever. I mean, somebody who would say things like, I like my women like my martinis on top of a bar. I mean, that's what you want, really. And no, you don't want angry Sean Connery or, again, the Daniel Craig, who always looked like the villain.
James Bond. Come on.
Who else?
James Bond. Yes, Miss Moneypenny.
No, Roger Moore.
Poor,
for Queen and
on the
Country.
same day, January 25th, John Hurt, great actor, and Mary Tyler Moore died. Aww.
You can sort of do John Hurt. You gotta kind of John Hurt. Yeah, I can't do a John Hurt clearly, but I can growl. John Hurt was great. I miss John Hurt.
Yeah.
The Naked Civil Servant. How's that for Charles being PC and with it? Reference to Quentin Crisp here.
Quentin Crisp.
Friend of mine.
Yes, it was. Well, let's see. Personally, how was your year? You had operations on your eyes?
Yeah.
That's good. What else happened?
He was blinded.
My distant vision is extraordinary now. But yes and no. I need glasses to see close up. Although I did a really good job with the introduction.
You did.
Comes from practice.
Read it without fault. Yes, Shelley, how was your year?
You
joined this program.
Yes.
Was that a high spot or?
Answer at the end of the show. You don't want to say yet.
Yes. No. Yes. Love doing this with y'all. I loved putting myself a little on the edge, being a little scared, not uncertain, and diving in anyway. And so it was a great opportunity to do that. And I appreciate that.
What Shelley's referring to is we always release a poisonous animal into the studio before every show. Just, keep it exciting.
Well, it's wonderful having you on the show because
thanks, Paul.
We always need the feminine touch wherever we are. And our antidote to being scared and kind of unsure of ourselves is to, as Stephen said, propound. As if we know
I hadn't noticed.
About it.
I'm hoping that in the next year, Charles will stop picking on me.
No, that's not going to happen. Although Steve's eyes were fixed this year, he is going to be playing Gloucester in a live-action Hamlet, so too bad for those eyes, I guess.
Oh, dear.
It was fun while it lasted. Much more pitiable blinded, I would say. I mean, but I don't pick on people. Bullying. Was bullying this year or last year? Are we over bullying?
Bullying was Melania Trump. That was going to be her big thing, cyberbullying. Or was that Ivanka? I've forgotten. Ivanka, I think, was cyberbullying.
It was the First Lady.
Was it Melania?
Well, isn't bullying how you learn that people are awful and to cherish the fact that some people have empathy and most people don't? I mean, don't we need bullying in a way?
How about bullying tweets? She's going to take that one on?
Bullying exists to make the bullier
She's been
feel
awfully
better.
quiet since.
Yes,
I guess, but I mean, just that
I appreciate
learning
that.
that everybody is not nice. That's an important thing to learn.
I thought the high spot of the Christmas season were the White House decorations. I thought that set a new high.
Those were terrifying. What was that? She's the queen from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I mean, what is?
I like those.
I got to tell you, looked like an explosion at a Crate and Barrel. It was
a haunted White House.
Yes.
And there was a lovely picture of her standing in all her glory, all her fashionable glory, as a pair of ballet dancers contorted in front of her just for her, and she was just standing there with the resting face. I don't know how
Barely
her.
cracked a
I'm
smile.
not sure how Melania's Christmas went. Mar-a-Lago. Let's go to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, strange people. What can I say?
Yeah, well, give us a call, won't you? It's we've got about 15 minutes left. Give us a call and tell us about your experiences in 2017 or your highs and lows and what you're expecting for the next year or your resolutions. I don't know. I don't agree with doing resolutions. That's because, of course, I never plan ahead in any way at all. The total eclipse, solar eclipse happened
You went
this
to
year.
that?
I did. Drove up in my incredible Vanagon to
Have tremendous
Oregon.
owl population this year.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
The owls are booming?
Up at the barn
Absolutely
owls at your place.
wonderful.
What? Is it barn owls?
Barn owls, screech owls. We have an owl in the barn. You walk in and he flies down the end and
Makes you
flies back.
Beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. And there's a lot of deer, which means there'll be a lot of mountain lions.
Which means there'll be a lot of accidents.
A lot of accidents.
Did you
yes.
go to the eclipse, Shelley Rugg, I ask you?
No, I wasn't able to do that.
I noticed it was foggy in Marshall. It got slightly darker and then slightly lighter, and that was it.
You know, you may or may not know that I take care of my dad, and so I have to really think carefully about any excursions that take me away from him for too long, because it's really hard for him when I'm away, and I can't always take him along
Fair enough.
because that's hard for him as well.
No.
So it impacts my mobility sometimes.
Well, I don't go anywhere. So that's my reason.
How old is your father?
He'll be turning 84 next month.
Aha.
And so 2018 for me, a little bittersweet, moving into...
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh.
This very well may be the year my dad dies.
Oh, no. He's
Yeah.
failing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry to hear.
And, but, you know,
What a life.
right now he's a real happy guy.
Oh, good.
And so that feels good.
That's better than we are.
Oh, well, but then, you know.
So, so I'm going to have that experience. I'm going to have the experience of working with hospice, and
Right.
and it'll be interesting to see, you know, how that goes, and the impact it may end up having on my life. I don't know.
Right, yeah. Well, hospice is a wonderful service. They're very caring people. It's lovely.
Who do we
think
have?
the
We
years
have
of-
Wes Marini, who's involved. She was on KQED. Trader. Who was that?
Well, there's Cynthia. I don't know.
Kate Munger's, I think.
Kate Munger. Oh, yeah.
I think the year is going to be remembered for the fires. And
Yes.
I think that the
yeah.
impact is going to go into this year, the new year, and the following new year.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, especially for the people involved. I mean, they've been given they've got a 2-year deadline of the state, or is it the state or the feds paying for their alternative accommodations.
That's
and,
better
and
than-
then they're supposed to be back in.
Better than Puerto Rico, they had a 60-day deadline.
Yeah, that's awful what happened in Puerto Rico. Anyway, we have a caller. You're on the air, caller. What's your name, please?
Hi, Paul. It's MK again. I wanted to talk to Shelley
Oh,
because I took care of my dad for the last year and a half of his life, and you will never regret it. It's hard. It's really hard. I was sat by his bedside the afternoon that he died, and he was on a cruise ship somewhere out in the Pacific doing something. I don't know. And waiting for my mother died 9 years before he did, and they were just really tight. And
yeah.
so he was ready to go and join her. And he was 84 too when he died, and he didn't die of anything specific except he had heart disease and was ready to die. That's pretty much what happened. He sort of gave up. But we had a wonderful time in that last year and a half, and we were pals. And I miss him, I'll tell you. But I'm glad I don't have any more parents to take care of. And it was totally worth it.
Yeah.
Bless you for doing it, and don't worry about the tears. They're dry.
Thanks, MK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you. MK.
Bye.
Thank you, MK. Wow.
Yeah, there's nothing like being there at the moment.
663-8492. Give us a call. Some reflection on 2017, some prediction for 2018. And, to be the snooty, arty person that I am, let me just point out that John Berger died in 2017.
John Berger.
Oh, yeah, I'll probably pronounce it Berger, so I'm giving him. But Ways of Seeing, always very entertaining film and book that he did in the early 70s. That's John Berger.
In the coming year, because of the new tax law that is now in effect, non-profits such as this radio station, may I remind everybody out there, are going to have a harder time getting money. I think in the House version, they were actually not doing away completely with charitable deductions in taxes, but the effect of raising the standard deduction apparently is going to make it harder for non-profits to receive donations. People are going to be less inclined to give money to, because they won't be itemizing if they have the doubled deduction that they're going to get.
So it means that normally if you made a donation to KWMR, you would itemize that in your taxes and you get a deduction for it.
Yeah.
And this is not going to happen
at a certain level, of taxation. And that's not going to happen so much anymore. So remember that at the next fund drive, which will be coming up soon, I'm sure. There's always another fund drive.
Do people give money to an organization, though, for the tax purposes?
Well,
I can say, I think I'll support KWMR because it's good for my taxes.
But do you itemize your taxes? Do you take deductions for your charitable contributions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Why you do it.
But it
probably
doesn't mean
depends
I
on the
won't
amount.
support the same groups because I don't.
Right, true. And, at the huge levels, so like endowments and things, that will still happen, but, because they're not affected at all by it. Russian presidential election, just a little boost for democracy. There's the opposition candidate has been barred from competing, and of course, I'm sure the White House is investigating that for the coming year. Yes. 2017, 2018 resolutions. You're going to be nice to everybody.
He's pointing at Shelley. I am nice to everybody. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And
And
nicer. Even more so.
I think 2018 we're going to see a surge of political activity, of activism, and of people running, not being so disinclined to run for office anymore. I think there are
people are
a lot of
stepping
people
up.
are alarmed by what's with the direction the country's going in. Will it make a difference? Yes, of course it will.
I hope so.
I hope so. We all hope so.
It will.
Yeah,
I predict it makes a difference.
Okay, that's good. Will the liberal side take over the House and the Senate? Who knows?
Oh, they're all a bunch of eels anyway. Sorry. It's not the New Year's yet. Don't have to be nice yet. Not yet.
Alabama, here it is. Alabama certifies the Jones win, brushing aside the challenge from Roy Moore, who still has not conceded. He was going to sue and say that there was a question about the numbers, and no, they've said nope, it's official.
Do we have anything in West Marin that's going to happen next year? I mean, we pride ourselves on being set in stone, but what is there anything on the horizon? I'm trying to think. Something going to be built? Something going to?
Does anyone know what's happening with the Grandy building?
Apparently, the owner is applying to do something with it.
Really,
Something.
Ken Wilson?
Yeah, apparently so. So, but I don't know what that'll be.
Maybe we'll get the Commons back.
There'll be a squatters encampment there.
Oh, I like that.
There will be squatters.
I think it's an excellent idea.
On the common.
I thought that
We'll be
People's
running
Park
sheep.
was going to use it as a franchise.
People's
that's
Park
right.
North.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, and so what else do we have? Let's see. We do have some new Marshalians. I think Luke Regal-Buteau and Maggie Levenger moved into town. We did lose Vicky and Willie. Any other Marshalians that we lost this year? Vicky and Willie went to Magalia. Loved them. Second Christmas I spent in Marshall, I spent with Vicky and Willie. I think the second one.
Interminable Marshall residents moved.
They've been there for 30 years, yeah. Well, it turns out
Did
there
I
was
use the right word
it did
there?
terminate. Well, no, I mean, it
Rich and
terminated.
Bonnie missed having moved to.
Point Reyes?
Oh,
Yeah.
that was
Oh, that wasn't-
previously, though,
no.
wasn't it?
2-3 years ago.
All
Yeah.
right.
But yeah, there's still we still see them in the street every so often. No, there's life goes on. So, what difference does it make that the year has a different number?
I think we're having a tough time because we don't want to
It's
talk
just a
about
marker.
the elephant in the room.
What's the...
Get that elephant out of this room.
Hey, quit talking about me like that.
Gracious. Well,
What's the elephant in the room, Stephen?
Our President of the United States.
No, that's so lame. That's not the elephant in the room in West Marin. Nothing's changed in West Marin. What's the elephant in the room in West Marin? I ask you, Stephen Hurwitz. Nobody knows.
I don't know.
Nobody. Us.
Taking over Tony's.
Taking over to what, Tony?
Lack of
That's
housing
true. Yeah. Tony's changed hands. The lack of housing, of course,
is
always.
a big one, yeah.
Always a big one. Airbnb's influence. Will the transient occupancy tax change this year?
Since both of the board members of ESPG went to the last meeting, who are in the studio right now, I have no idea. But yeah, they're talking about maybe putting it on the ballot, not really sure, an increase in TOT tax. So Dennis Rodoni's kind of pushing that, and it would produce some money, I guess, but not a whole lot. It depends on how ambitious you are about doing things like new housing programs. So it's going to be something. So it's something to look forward to, I guess, and it would provide some funding for.
Will that be in the vote this year? This coming year?
With the timelines for that, if the Board of Supervisors sort of elect to put it directly on the ballot, then I guess you could see it as soon as June, but probably November because we'll have a primary in 2018. Right. So I'm not sure when, but if it has to be a popular initiative, if actually the people of West Marin have to put it on the ballot, which I'm guessing because Dennis is supporting it, that's not going to happen. That there's going to be a faster way onto the ballot. Then they need to get going on that now because that's a long process. It's at least 6 months to make it happen. So if it's going to be on the November ballot, then we'll see. But I don't know. I call Dennis Rodoni's office today.
And say transient occupancy tax, a little extra for West Marin. The idea is to add a percentage point or two, right?
Well, 5. Yeah,
5%.
It's 10% now. It would go up to 15%.
15% for B&Bs for overnight residencies, short-term rentals in West Marin.
And it's expected to realize $1 million.
That extra percentage will go to West Marin or to Marin County?
Some of it. It's going to be split between the county and so 3% goes to the county, 2% goes to maybe local housing. Some maybe funding for CLAM and things like that.
Because the rest of the occupancy tax goes to the general fund, which means they just, we'll take that.
So, yeah, we'll see what becomes of it. But, if you go to your local, do that. There's a resolution for 2018. Go to your local, gird yourself and go to one of your local village association, the Village Association in Point Reyes, the Inverness Association in Inverness, and
ESPG,
East Shore Planning Group, the Tamales Village Community Service District in Tamales.
Bolinas Village Association.
Yeah, but everybody's got one. Just go over and bang on Amanda's door if you're in Olema. I don't know. I think that's the effective. I don't know what they've got in Olema. Something. But yeah, most of these things, you can get involved in them. And politics dies around two things: no ideas. That's a big problem. People don't know what to do, but also no participation because it's kind of clunky. You have to sort of will yourself to do it. It's not fun to participate in politics. If it is fun to participate in politics, it means you're at a Nuremberg rally. So
what did you accomplish this year at the?
At ESPG?
Yeah.
Well, we effectively participated in trying to block pieces of legislation that would harm dwellings on the shore there in Tamales.
The California Coastal Commission that wants to get rid of Marshall in Toto.
Yeah, so we've
been keeping us there.
Keeping people there on the water, and that'll be an ongoing fight. That's going to go on.
That's going to go on forever.
Well, it's one of the ironies of what's happening now is people say, Trump wants to get rid of regulation. It's so bad. But you ask people locally and say, there's way too much government regulation. It's like, okay. Yeah. What is it then? So people are beginning to bridle at the influence of the Coastal Commission, et cetera. So yeah, that's what the ESPG does.
Another wonderful idea when it was founded that has fallen prey to bureaucracy, that there are people whose careers it is now to itemize rules and to make rules and to say this is how it's going to be, and it's up and down the California coast, which is how many hundreds of miles long?
Yeah, 700 miles or more. But I just say that, and also the sort of activist groups and a lot of these people, they're and the bureaucrats themselves, they're ankle biters. They don't go after big polluters. They don't go after.
They go after Marshall.
Yeah, homeowners, individual homeowners, and then they don't even play this game really in quite the same way down in Southern California, Orange County, Newport Beach, do whatever you want, But you want to put a Bentley dealership, in the sand, fine.
Well, it's because Environmental Action Committee of West Marin goes along with whatever the Coastal Commission wants because
I attended with two other Marshalians who remain anonymous. Attended the Coastal Commission meeting. Was it 2017 or was that is that this year?
I think it was the year before.
Really? Maybe it was January. I don't know. We went, and the EAC people were there, but they're ankle biters. They're just like, well, we got to do something and we can win. So I'll give you an example. I mean, 40 years ago now, Hans Angres wanted to build a development in Marshall. Would be a lodge with a pier, blah, 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 blah. The commission approved Sea Ranch. It approved all these other huge developments on the coast, but they killed that because that would have been bad for the environment. So if you've got enough money, it doesn't really matter what you do to the environment. If you're sort of a minnow, then you're ripe to be attacked by activists and bureaucrats and cynical people.
Anyway, that's a nice roundup for the year. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And let me just say that KWMR does not take a stand on any of the issues discussed on Let's Talk. Opinions expressed on this program are those of the hosts and callers and don't necessarily reflect the views of KWMR, its board of directors, underwriters, or members. Thank you, Stephen, Shelley, Charles, and Happy New Year to you all. Thank you, everyone who is listening, and thanks to our callers. And here's Fortune Teller from the Rolling Stones. Bye. See you next year.